We have Cam Portland in the building today. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm glad you're here as well. For those who don't know, give them a little background on who you are and what you do.
Alright, so my name's Cam Portland. I'm from Streatham, Southwest, and I'm an artist.
Hmm.
If you asked me like a year ago, I would have said I just work on canvas and like acrylics and whatever.
Yeah.
I mix media, but now I'll say I'm kind of more in the field of illustration.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
How would you describe your art specifically?
Abstract expressionism.
Abstract expressionism.
Yeah, but everyone likes to like add the word urban in it. Pretty much just means like black abstract expressionism. You know what I mean?
Okay. And your design, like from what I've seen, the faces, like you see people, because oftentimes when we're looking at like paintings and abstract paintings, it's just collages, colours. You see a lot of colours, different colours and whatnot. But yours is more like people.
Yeah, so the caricatures like that I make and stuff, it's all inspired by the San people. So it's like a tribe in southern Africa
Yeah.
from like primarily places like Botswana, Zambia, more or less them kind of regions.
Okay.
And then they have like protruding cheekbones and like big lips and very stereotypical of like if you was to say like racist features of like a black person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I watched a documentary about them in about 2015.
Is that what drew you to them?
Yeah. Their features. I was just like,
Yeah.
if you see a picture of them, they're striking. Like, you know what I mean? They stand out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I was in my brother's house once. I was watching a documentary, and he used to live in Brixton. He had like a balcony. I was just looking over and just seeing like people walking and waiting at the bus stop and stuff. And I was just drawing people in that style.
Yeah.
Then literally looked at it, took some pictures, sent it to my friends. They were like, "This looks sick."
Yeah.
So I just ran with it, done more research about them, and found out they're super unique people. So they're meant to even be the purest form of humans. So like
Why?
the closest. So if you look at them, you can see in features of like people from Africa. There's some Asian features in there, and stuff like that, pretty much. So their tribe is meant to be like one of the most ancient tribes that's still out there now.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah. They kind of branched out to like different regions, like I was saying earlier. But
Are there any San people in London?
no, exactly. So that's the reason why I kind of, it goes back to the whole me recreating people that I see
Yeah.
and giving them kind of features. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
You see a lot of people with certain features, and you could kind of connect to be like, oh, they have certain features similar to the San people tribe,
Yeah.
or San Bush tribe, whatever. And that's what I just kind of try to connect, really.
Sick. Speaking like in music terms, I know there's a lot of musicians who like to get in the creative space, and they have like certain practices they use
Yeah.
to like create when they're creating and whatnot. Sometimes it's substances, sometimes it's like alcohol or whatnot. Like, what's your like go-to when you're like working on a piece or starting a piece? Like, how do you get in like the creative zone, would you say?
It's changed, I would say. It's always been like music,
Yeah.
documentaries, stuff like that. That just kind of I can be immersed in it, put loud music on, and just kind of like be in that zone. When I first started, I had this idea of like drinking wine and, you know, the stereotypical kind of like artist thing of like drinking wine, cherry bees and that, whatever, just to kind of vibes out. You know what I mean? Listen to reggae, but then I didn't want to be dependent on that process. It's not like it's the most healthy way of living anyway.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be dependent on that. Especially some days I want to draw and paint, and I might not even be in the best mood. So I don't want to be drinking, or do you know what I mean, and go down to downward spiral.
You have those days where like you just don't want to create anything.
Yeah,
at all.
honestly, even like last year, I would say, was at the start of the year was like the hardest. That and like the end of 2017 was like the hardest period creative wise for me. 18 was a weird year. I had my first exhibition in 2018 October. And maybe late summer of that, like within that summer, I was doing more pieces. I was doing like live shows. So I was building up my confidence. I was like, let me just show the pieces I've done at the start of that year and whatever, you know what I mean? Just brought that all together, done an exhibition. But at the start of last year was a period of like, kind of like self-doubt. Because I always thought that I'd be like the artist within like a massive artist, like the next Banksy or like George Condo at like 23. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was 22 at the time, and just feeling the pressure and that, man.
You weren't seeing no traction. And stuff.
Nah, and to be honest, if I'm being real with myself, I wasn't putting in enough work. So I was working retail, and I'd put in 28 hours a week then.
Yeah.
But I'm not putting 28 hours a week for my work. Do you know what I mean? If I look back at it, I'm just like really chilling, just kind of wasting time, really.
Yeah.
And then expecting amazing things. It's just not going to work like that. And I kind of felt like I had to get out of that kind of space about April last year. And I spoke to my brother. I was going to do an exhibition in October in 2019.
Yeah.
Spoke to my brother, and if you know my brother, I think you might have met him once or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you know my brother, he is a tough love kind of guy. He's like the old school Jamaican, stereotypical like Caribbean dad. Do you know what I mean? Of like hard love, very loving, but it's just like the hard love. And with me, I'm someone that needs the truth. I want someone next to me to be like, if you're kind of not putting the effort in, you're not putting the effort in. Stop pretending, kind of like fooling yourself that you are. And I spoke to him because I was down. I spoke to him and went to his house. We had like about an hour conversation.
Yeah.
And he was grilling me. I was like, why did I come here? This is like the last person I should come see. I know how he is. And I left, and you know when people talk about like that, like you waking up, you finally waking up, that feeling. That's what I felt like. I snapped out of it, and I think I went carnival like 2 days after that.
That doesn't help.
It does help. It does help because, like I said, I'm inspired by music.
Yeah.
And
For you it helped.
Yeah, for me it helped.
For me it don't.
No, it helped for me a lot. So like I went there with my cousins, friends, and we went on like a float, a mud float. Sick, like it's the sickest float, whatever. You should definitely go there. And then we were like behind like a paint float.
Yeah.
And everyone's just having the sickest time, whatever. And then I kept on taking pictures of like really vibrant colours. People like with paint in their hair, and there's not caring, just free. Do you know what I mean? And for a long time before that conversation I had with my brother, I felt like I was trapped in that self-doubt kind of thing, you know? That kind of, that kind of stage of my life where I was just doubting myself all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember coming home and I was listening to like Free Shots, and they was talking about, I can't remember, they was talking about something, and I started drawing characters from what they were saying, but adding like the colours that I saw the day before in Carnival. And when that happened, I made like a series of about 5 of them.
Yeah.
Sent it to my friends, and like I always do, I just send it to like my close friends. I got a family group, send it to them, send it to my girlfriend. Everyone was sort of like, this is sick, this is like, I didn't get that reaction from the work I had before, so I was thinking, okay, they really mean this, like, this must be something sick. Linked up with my other friend who's a sick graphic designer, and he's like my right hand guy, man. We linked up, scanned the piece, put a colour on the back, and formed like my first 3 pieces. There's one called Purple Violet. There's called Athlete's Foot, because the faces was like in the shape of a foot, and then I put like red. There's like
fungus on their lips,
exactly, and stuff like that. So it looked like Athlete's Foot.
Yeah.
And then I think the other one's just called like Carnival, Day After Carnival, something like that. But the response I got from that was crazy. It was like people really was liking it.
Yeah.
And it was like, messaged me privately like, oh, this is so sick. The new work that you're producing is amazing. Da, da, da. So I was like, okay, cool. Built on my confidence. I spent like the next 2 weeks making maybe over 100 characters.
Damn.
Yeah, like when I get locked in to something, I focus and like determined to like you won't see me for like a week, and I'm just producing so much pieces, so much characters, and watching documentaries and hours, watching interviews with other artists and stuff like that. Just like literally just crafting all these kind of different informations, and it comes in through my work. You know what I mean? And I started releasing them gradually, like maybe like once a week.
Yeah.
Just to be staying more Instagram active on Instagram, you know. And when I was doing that, the feedback was amazing. Opportunities started like arising. People was hitting me up saying, "We got this opportunity. Do you want to do that? Do you want to?" And then I was starting to remember the conversation I had with my brother, and he was like, "If you're not going to put the time in, you might as well call it a day and just get a 9 to 5." Or because I went to uni, I studied interior architecture, so he was like, "You might as well just do something like that. Like, you've got a degree. If you're not willing to put the time in and to be your own entrepreneur in the way of like being the next artist, upcoming artist and whatever, selling your merch, and then just forget it. It's like, stop fooling yourself. You're not fooling anyone else. Just like literally, is either do it or find something else to do." And yeah, I've been doing it really, and everything's just been moving forward.
Sick. So talk to me about like the grind as an artist.
Oh, it's horrible.
Because like obviously like getting recognition and that, it's not the same as a lot of other industries, you know what I mean? So like how do you get recognition and get your work seen? Like,
so that's the thing. It's like I'm lucky because I love like clothes and whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought, I've always had this idea of like, oh, I would love to see people wearing my art. I just thought that'd be sick. It's like a walking gallery.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a walking billboard, like advertisement. I've came up with the character Menace, made jumpers, made T-shirts, and people was like buying it really quickly, and I was like, wow, people actually like this a lot.
Yeah. Next question I would ask then is like, how would you measure success as an artist? So obviously you're talking about clothes.
Yeah, okay, exactly. Sorry,
like, is that the measurement like of success?
So I got lost. So with that, it depends if you want to be like a commercial artist.
Yeah.
Where you are more like a Keith Haring. So it's kind of like you know, on like adverts and you're doing illustrations and stuff like that, or like more stuff like that, or like you're making pillowcases that are getting sold in IKEA and stuff like that. Or you could be more of like an artist, which is George Condo, so it's like a less of a household name.
Okay.
However,
their work is everywhere.
People in the art world, they know who he is.
Yeah.
You know. So it's either kind of like where you want to be. So if you do want to be like a George Condo or someone like that, it's more or less just finding the galleries to exhibit your work in. Having a portfolio that is strong enough to where you can just open it, people see it and like, this is sick. Definitely want to schedule in for an exhibition.
Yeah.
And then when you do that, you kind of open yourself up to potential buyers. And if someone buys it, and then they have another friend that come to their house who's a art collector or a creator or whatever, it kind of like word to mouth like that.
Yeah.
Instagram also helps. There's a world of like that on Instagram. If you do want to just go to commercial, I think it's more or less like the idea of success on that is how much exposure you're getting.
Yeah.
On, you know, so like if you've done a collaboration with Nike and it's on it's on the buses, and you know, it's stuff like that, or you've redesigned Urban Outfitters, the store, and so it's stuff like that. So it's more or less like it does depend on what kind of route you want to go down.
Okay, speaking about buying art, because you just mentioned that, like listening to like people like Jay-Z, yeah, and Ross, like Rick Ross and whatnot, they talk about like buying art like in investment terms. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an artist, like from the artist's perspective though, like what's your take on people buying art as an investment just to put their money in something? Like how do you feel about that versus like people buying art for the love? Like how do you feel about people buying like just for investments and whatnot?
If it's like a conflicting kind of, so like if Jay-Z said to me, yo Cam, your work is sick,
Yeah.
I want to buy this, and he knows, he can see the vision, in 20 years I'm going to be someone that work is going to worth 10 times more. I'm not going to turn down Jay-Z, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would prefer someone that buys my work due to the love of my work, 100%. Just because I know that it's like if you get something just because you can buy it, you're not going to treat it as nicely as it's something that you actually love. You kind of waited for, you appreciate the process more. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like artists need to make money as well.
How do you feel about like selling? How like what's your whole idea and notion of like selling your work? Is that important for you?
Financially, yeah. Yeah, financially, yeah. My parents always pressure me to sell work. If it was down to me, I would love to keep all my work.
Yeah.
It's like, cause I never started painting because I wanted to get money or wanted to be like famous or anything. I generally just started painting.
Why do artists do that? They like hoard their like best pieces.
Do you know what it's like? It's like if you're bringing up a child.
Yeah.
You're not just want anyone to kind of take them away. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that protection that you have of your work. It's something you created, something that you've nurtured, and you went through the whole process of seeing a blank canvas, putting layers down, maybe even covering that layer with white just because you didn't like that, and then starting again, and that whole process, you being locked in that room for X amount of hours, deep in your thoughts, trying to put your emotion down. It's really personal. Do you know what I mean? It's not just me drawing. There's always a thought process behind 90% of my work. Sometimes I'm just like doodling and whatever, and it looks sick, and I put it on Instagram. But more or less, I do put a lot of time and thought behind the small details of my work. So you kind of want to keep it because it is like a personal journey that you've had and shared with the work.
If you could mention a few, who are like your favourite artists and designers?
And designers, was in like fashion or?
Yeah, like just in general, like who do you look at and think like you're, like whether they're designing or they're actually artists, like who do you look at and think,
Okay, so I would say my favourite artist visually would be a George Condo. If you see my work, you probably see like, maybe not similarities, but like I reference a lot of his work in my work. So like George Condo, if you don't know, is the guy that created my Beautiful Dark Fantasy. Not created it, but he done the cover work.
with you?
With exactly. He done like 7 paintings for it. So you used to have like the when you got the CD, you could change the cover. I thought that was sick. Like seeing that in 2010 at my cousin's house, I was like, this is nuts. That stuff like that. So like his work is so striking, and he creates characters which are human, meant to be human, but they look like creatures. Like they look like that they're not human like, but they are human. They got, if the women, they have like breasts, they have lips in the right places usually. They got ears, they got 2 eyes, they got hair sometimes. So it's like, I would say him visually. I'm super inspired by Tyrone Deans. Just like the layers of his work. So when I first started, I used to get frustrated because my work always seemed really flat.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I'm a flat person. I got like so much layers to my personality. If you meet me at work, you'd be like, okay, like if you know me, you might be like, that's not really Cameron. But obviously, I'm putting on a layer that I have to be professional. So like, I kind of want my work to properly represent me. So with the way he could just like put so much layers on, it's like meticulously, but it's like it's controlled, but at the same time, at the first glance, you might be like, this is just mad. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you see yellow popping out from greens, and you could, if you look closer and closer, you see more details, and it kind of revealing more. And his work is amazing to me. I know him personally, and that doesn't affect it. It might do, to be honest, because I can talk to him about his thought process, and yeah, his work is amazing to me. What else would I say? The blatant one, people always compare me to, is like Basket. I could see more similarities in my old work, not in my new work. It's a major compliment if someone says that to me. He's like the most famous artist there is, and he died at like 27. Do you know what I mean? And so that's a massive compliment. And his work blows my mind. Like, it's mad. And like, who else would I say? Faith Ringgold. So she done I can't remember what the gallery's called. She done her show anyway in about October last year.
Yeah.
And she was a black woman in America, New York. And her work, if you see it, you wouldn't understand how no one thought it was sick for, I think, like 50 years. And then someone saw it and was like, whose work is this? And then found out it was her. I think it was through her daughter. Found out it was her. Saw the collection, and it was nuts, like mad, and very political. There's like one picture, I can't remember his name. It's gonna annoy me, but it's there's like slaves in the water. I don't know if they're drowning or trying to signal to someone. And in the back is like the slave ship burning, and it's just like you could get lost in all the different characters' faces. That's sick. And then an artist, like overall artist, like different. Kanye West, man.
Kanye, I love you, man. People don't like he's
People don't like him, but
he's not politically correct. That's why I think. You know what I mean?
You know what it is?
But like his ideology and like his brain, I think, is crazy. And anyone who thinks a bit deeper and who sees past
you have to appreciate
the madness. I think you mess with him.
Yeah, you have to, and like you can't not mess with someone that is changed so many things about like pop culture. Like before Kanye West, no one was really on this fashion thing. That's a rapper. It was kind of like fashion was very separate to hip hop and stuff. Obviously, no. Don't get me wrong, they had their own kind of style, but I'm talking about like Paris. You wouldn't just see all rappers just on the front at Paris, you know what I mean, or like shows in London. You wouldn't see that 20 years ago.
There's a lot of rappers that go fashion week. Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Exactly, and Kanye has to be a pioneer of that, man. To where his everything, the fact that I don't want to say these facts are not true, but he's the main guy of Yeezy, and like I remember when he called himself Yeezy and Yeezus, and people was like, oh, bun this guy.
That's mad still.
And now it's like people just wearing his shoes.
Yeah, especially if you're a Christian. I couldn't even imagine that. I remember I was playing that album still in the crib. And my mum heard me, like, he was, like, talking about Jesus and shit, and she was like, it's like blasphemous.
Yeah, she's like, cut out.
It's mad.
You went to church that Sunday, man. He's just a genius, man. And the people that he had around him, like, you look at a picture of them, I think it was in Paris.
Yeah.
Like, he had his team, like, Virgil's there, the guy that was doing teaser a couple of years, 2000, back in the day, whatever. I think he might still do it. There's many of them, and they're all in a line, and they couldn't get into a fashion thing 10 years ago, fashion show 10 years ago. But
It's true.
like that is groundbreaking. How can you not rate that? Yeah, he's not politically correct with a lot of the stuff he says, but like if you go into anyone's household with no cameras and no microphones, you're gonna see a lot of views that might offend people outside.
It's true.
He's just not scared of saying his views that he might share with his family members at like a family barbecue. You know, you got that one uncle that's just mad backwards and just says that madness. He is that uncle that just says that in public. But you have to separate his art and his. If you say, I don't like Kanye West because of what he says and his thought process, cool. You cannot deny that this guy's work is amazing on a different level. He inspired most creatives my age that are black, from London, from anything, they would all agree that Kanye West is a massive influence, and Kid Cudi and stuff like that, and like that kind of group of people growing up in like 10 years ago, that was massive. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I love Kanye West, man. I think he's sick.
Well, I agree, man. Taking it back to art, like when we talk about art, yeah, like a lot of people tend to think it's like an old demographic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you paint this picture in your head of like an art dealer or art dealership, or going to a gallery and seeing like a certain type of people. Like, what's your whole take on like the art industry as a whole, and how do you think, or do you think it's like evolved?
It has evolved. It's still very segregated. Like super. For example, me being from Streatham and that, growing up, my parents wouldn't have connections to. They wouldn't just know someone that owns a gallery.
Yeah.
So, me and anyone, me and my brother, whatever, that's both artists, we have to go out there and make these connections ourselves. Whereas certain people, being of colour, maybe white or something, they might have had these connections from their parents. And they kind of know what route to take. For example, even like, you could go to, so a lot of people our age that are black, people of colour, whatever, they do feel kind of, if you're just like from the ends and that, and you do have that idea of art, or like a gallery and stuff, so you might even go to a gallery to take modern and start acting different. Start thinking like you have to spend 3 minutes looking at a piece when you just want to see it for like 10 seconds, you know what I mean? It's like, because we don't have someone that, yeah, it is segregated, and if you ask most people like us, they would feel like that, especially if they're not in the creative scene. They'll definitely feel like it's different. It's very different, man.
How do the galleries deal with like, and do the galleries as well? I wanted to ask you, like, do they house like new up and coming like artists and whatnot?
So where I'm gonna be showing on 28th of Feb. Yeah. That is it's a place called Streatham Space Project. And I went there and I was super nervous. Yeah. I'm quite a nervous guy when it comes to that. I'm always over, like I say, self-doubt and stuff. So I went there and I was just thinking, bun it. I'm just going to go. If they turn me down, they could turn me down. I've been to certain places and they didn't even look at my work. They looked at the first thing and was like, nah, it doesn't really suit here. And you look at their work and you're like,
it does still.
It does. Like, why? Like, I saw the artist that you're showcasing. My work is very similar to this vibe. Why is it not? But they're looking at me and they're like, nah. And so I went there and it looked like it was closed from the outside, but I think it was like lunchtime. And I saw this guy called Andy who like runs the space. He's a part of a team that runs the space. And he was like, I said to him, nervously, like, this is like, I'm an upcoming artist. I wanted to know if I could use this space for like an exhibition. And he was like, yeah. Very welcoming. Let me see your work. Do you have your work on you? And I said, yeah, it's on me now. I've got the portfolio. So we went in it was me and my friend that went down there. The same the graphic designer Martin.
Yeah.
We went down there and we sat down. As soon as I opened my work, opened the portfolio, there was like, this is amazing. Like their eyes popped out there, like this is amazing. They're looking through. I'm speaking, they're not even listening to me, and they're talking amongst each other because it was Andy and Ella.
Yeah.
And they was talking amongst each other, and they was like choosing which one's their favourite piece. And I was like, oh, sick. And he was like, yeah, cool, we're going to schedule you in. Didn't hear from him for like a month, so I kind of thought I went cold. And then like he was like, yeah, cool, like we definitely want you to be a part of this and like showcase your work for 3 months. So I was like, 3 months? I'm just happy to be there for like a weekend.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, and that happens because of being turned down so many times. I'm like, I just want to get a foot in the door. I'm happy if you just say like, yo, give me a weekend. I'll just bring as much people down as potential buyers and everything. I'll just make the most of the 48 hours. Whereas they had that much belief in me. They're young as well, so it is different. The younger generation I feel like it is less segregated with the younger people that's kind of in control of galleries and spaces. They are more
open and whatnot.
Exactly. They because they might have went. Whereas like, if you're like in your 50s, 60s, it's a difference. You might have never. The part of South London that you live in is very different to part I kind of interact with every day, you know. So it is very different. So they don't relate with me. So they see me and they're not even looking at the work. If I looked different, they probably would look at the work, but I don't. So they're kind of ignorant to a level. But that's fine, honestly. If the new generation's gonna be there and given spaces like how Andy and Ella did, I think it is going to be changing very quickly, man.
A couple years ago, obviously, you had like your first solo exhibition, which was nuts, sick turnout and whatnot. You've got one coming up. Mm-hmm. How is this one going to be different to the last one you had?
So, you know what it's like? It's like I always compare myself to like rappers and stuff. Yeah. Like I don't want to listen to rap.
It was a mad turnout, like the last one.
So I hope this one, I'm not going to jinx it, but I think this one's going to be like twice. The turnout's going to be like double it.
Sick.
Better music, better organised, better lighting, nicer space. Everything's just going to be better. I'm more confident and invested in my own work now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just more wiser, you know. So a lot of stuff that I was like running like a headless chicken. I couldn't even speak to you properly at the place.
I remember still.
And a lot of people, like, I actually messed up on a couple of potential buyers because
you didn't interact with them.
I didn't,
as much
and they
as
was
you
like,
should have.
"Oh, could you explain this?" And I'm trying to talk, and then someone's telling me about like the lighting problem or sound check.
A light just blown.
Yeah, I'm just like, raw, fam, like. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'll give you my email. And if it was me, I'm like, I'm gonna drop X amount of money on you, a couple £100, $1,000 on you, and you're walking off for a sound check. Forget that. But that's what I'm saying. That's what won't happen again. The space is 10 times better, and so like I was saying about the rappers, I don't want to listen to someone and not hear any or see any progress within 2 years.
Yeah.
It's like you're stale. Do you know what I mean? So with my old one, I'm still gonna bring some works from my old one, like the strongest pieces I've done, pieces I haven't sold or whatever. Yeah, and a lot of my new work is gonna be there. So you're gonna see a lot of more my illustration side. And yeah, it's gonna be serious, man.
Where's that gonna be at?
That's gonna be at the Streatham Space Project.
Okay.
Yeah. It's right next to the station, literally opposite a little. It's like I call it a yardie place called Porky's.
Oh, Porky's, swear.
Yeah, you know about Porky's.
Yeah.
It's opposite Porky's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah, we're gonna be in the building. I hope everyone comes down to that as well. Tell the people where they can find you, man, and keep up to date with the latest and whatnot as well.
Yeah. Cam_Portland on Instagram. I'm trying to get Cam Portland, and the person that was like,
What, the website?
no, I'm trying to get the
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 actual
username.
user.
Yeah, Cam Portland, and
That's a nightmare,
it's
isn't it?
jarring, bro.
Oh,
And like
man.
literally like.
And like they have like one follower,
It's
one
even worse.
picture.
Now listen, this is even worse. So there's a guy from
bro, give me the
there's
name.
literally. So there's a guy from Portland, in America, and he pretty much like I messaged him. He aired me. I'm like, okay, cool. Then I saw that it was free, so I changed it. And it was like I tried to change it, and then there was like no, even worse. My friend got it,
Yeah.
and he said, "I'm holding it for you." So I said, "I'm ready to change it over now." He's like, "Okay, cool." Then it said, "Oh, you can't change it within 14 days because pretty much he has the choice to change his mind within like the 14 days of changing it." So on the 14th day now, maybe the 15th, bro, someone just grabs it. And I'm trying to log in and get it now, and someone just grabs it. No followers, following no one, no pictures, yeah. I messaged them. I'm like, someone's
That's
pranking me, innit?
heartbreaking.
Yeah. I'm like, I've been waiting for like a year and a half. And hit him up, aired me for like 6 months. So I'm just like, you know what, I'm cool with the Cam_Portland. Hopefully I will change that. On my website is camportland.co.uk.
Cool.
Also, I'll be selling merch, prints, collaboration, customs for customizations with Carhartt jackets,
Sick.
Dr. Martens shoes. I've got a little collection going, like a wardrobe.
Nice.
Just for clothes I actually wear.
So people could buy stuff there.
People could come down,
Clothes, buy paintings
exactly
as well.
everything. So what I wanted to be like, I wanted you to be able to come down. If you love my work but can't afford a canvas piece, I can afford my own canvas pieces, but you really love my work, you can buy a print. If you want an A1 down to A5, it's available. If you want a piece of my merch just to kind of rock, swag out with it, it's there. And you can pre-order for the collaboration with the Dr. Martens, or the collaboration with like another garment that I'm trying to work on. But it will all be there, like the drop list with prices and everything will be there.
Sick.
Yeah.
Well, love for coming, man. Sick. And I hope, everyone gets down. We're going to be in the building. Is there going to be drinks?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, there's going to be drinks. If you come early, so it starts at 7, finish at 11. If you come early, you can get a drink. If you come a little later, there are drinks there. But just come down. There's going to be sick artists performing, like sick artists, upcoming artists as well.
Can you shed any names?
Yeah.
Any names?
H. Manada, Nipper, Kevin 5-Star, Ben FM, and the sickest DJ in London, Kirby.
Sick.
Kirby Rosanna, yeah.
Calm. Well, I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for coming again, man.